I fucked up the other video, and then I let them fuck me up. I'ma just say this anyway. I've been saying this shit for a minute. First of all, how y'all doing? Hope y'all doing okay. For it's a lot of energy in the planet, so I hope y'all not stressing yourselves out. I mean, it's I know it's a battle, spiritual warfare, but you can do this. For me, you know, it's meaningless attachment. If not, it's still going to be a learning process because that's what we're in lessons. For me, but Pete, this is another lesson for 360, right? Because since 2017, that's actually when the 7 year tribulation started. People saying 2019, but that was just part of the rebirth, right? The three to start over for me because it's 3693 for me. So 2017 was actually the time it happened. Um, it was around August, September, kind of like during slash after uh, Lion Gate energy. Like we have a Lionsgate portal, um, April 27th, but they're not going to tell you that. I'm probably the only person that is. Um, I've been saying all of them on point. The other one was January 27th. The one before that was um, October 27th. The one before that was July 27th. Since this is being the fourth one in the year, this ties to total energy that's actually on time. Because the thing is, they use these for measurements, right? It's all measurements. Like the hertz that's coming off matches up with the timeline crossing this month. I'm the only one that's telling you this. I mean, I haven't even really heard too many people. I mean, I've been hearing about timeline crosses, but I haven't literally watched no video, no time travelers, none of that shit, bro. I don't be on TikTok no more. It's only a handful of people I watch. Shah Jamal was one of them during that time. But once I started awakening, watching his videos, um, I kind of like chilled out and I started watching other people from me, like Bobby Hemmett, shit like that. But yeah, though, this shit, what's up, dude? I don't know who this is, but yeah, look, mm, I feel like I'm the only one saying this. 2017 was the start of the 7 year tribulation. You feel me? The 7 year tribulation. So my little theory is the 6D goes with the the dimensions go with the cycle. I mean, it's not my theory, it's universal theory that the fucking the 360 go with the cycle. So 360 hertz, that would be like 1D. And as it goes up in hertz, it goes up, but it counts by 90, right? So the thing is, it's four for each level. It's supposed to be one each week, 28 days. It's kind of like a leap year month for me. And other days is for the settlement, right? So it repeats and keep going. So now since 2017, since that first gamma eye weapon hit, that gamma ray, Well, it's the eye activation rate, but it can destroy you too. But it's an activation rate that hit 2017. So as it come back around and around and around and around again, it hit the 360, right? But let's say it went around 6 times. And as it went around 6 times, it brought a new energy. It like the magnetism from the sun brought it in, right? Because even if you're dealing with the moon, bro, the moon is a reflection of the backside of the sun dealing with moon energy. So the moon deals with the left side of the Greenwich line and the right side of the Greenwich line. The left side of the Greenwich line of April 2023 is 6D. The right side is 7D. But during this total eclipse, we can experience 9D or 8D, which is dealing with 3200 hertz. You feel me? But the timeline of the hertz is set at 217, just because that's not one of the pinpoint hertz for the four, because it's 4 different hertz for the level. But since we're in a V2 charge, meaning the atom's supposed to be charged by the melanin, right? Because like the electrons activate the protons, what activates the neuron. You feel me? So it's like they all work in unity. Like a negative is not a negative, and then the positive is not a positive. You feel me? Like really, if you look at negative, those are dealing with cells. They're nega cells. You feel me? Not saying you're negative, because everything have to work in unison. Like your lower self, higher self, uh, finding the balance self. The balance self is the avatar state, the crown state. When you too much love higher self, and too much higher self, you're not. I mean, it's always good to be in your higher self. I'm just saying that lower self is still a part of you. If not, if you forget about that, you're gonna crash out. Period. Because that helps you keep the balance. Two self. One is in righteous intent. Like that's what I'm saying. Know how to use your energy. You don't have to be out here being a negative entity in the world. But look, that being said, we have about 6 stars around the sun, right? It's really, yeah, 6 stars. So that makes three. That makes 3 lights, because it's going to be 6 binary systems actually, right? Because that deals with the 12 in total. But since it's 6 stars uh, making 3 lights, like 3 different stars type shit, it makes 3 gammas. So those 3 gammas are actually attaching themselves to the sun. So when the 3 gammas attach itself to the sun, it causes a gamma ray to come out of a black hole, a gamma ray to come out of pretty much from the neuron star they can't see. Uh, and then it represents a gamma coming from the sun, which is all 3 representing how your atom is getting the charge. You feel me? Because the atom is a neuron star, and the melanin is like the dark energy, or like it's like it's like the it's like an ether star, or like Planet X. So that being said, it's all coming together and it's going to raise the UV index up even more. So that's when it's going to be 9 to 12 more on the northeast. So if it's on the northeast star, like in Philly, I'm gonna say Philly gonna be up to a 9 to a 12. Reason they're trying to make it cold because when you're in 60 energy, that's when they're gonna try to freeze the planet and then move it in on the lands. Right? I'm not making this shit up because I've been seeing what energy the planet's been in since I learned this shit. For me, and hitting it's hitting coordinates, but since the C baseline, since we're at a C baseline, that means we're at M flares and X flares. And since when it comes around the grid, like the US isn't really like a pinpoint. The United States is not really a pinpoint for that energy to hit. It only hits really when it's like C's, the C's, the X, but really only hits for the M's and the X. It hits the US, right? It hits more of South America and shit like that, or like the Pacific. But when it comes to X or M, the radius of the flare actually hits. You feel me? It hits us. So that being said, it's too much heat getting heated. That's why the West Coast is cold. And they got the East Coast all it's warmer because really the East Coast is a tropic zone, a subtropic zone, meaning it's not supposed to be cold either. So they know that the charge in the air is going to get a V2. It really did already in 2021. Like the atoms that were floating around had two black dots in them. Since they've been changing up the air quality with the clouds and shit, it's been removing that charge with the sub-zero because the sub-zero is only there. It turns zero because um, of the charge, carbon emissions. That's why Bill Gates wanted it at zero because if it got to two, it would have your body would have did it by itself. Like if you weren't in fast or in fruits before uh, it started happening, like say like when Rashad Jamal started talking, if he wasn't like in fasting or fruits during that time, or like just upping your frequency, he wasn't upping your frequency. Like now, this in the physical is going to make people do it. Like the physical is going to make you do it. Or if you go against it, you're just going to feel weak. And when you're dealing with feeling weakness, that deals with a loss of red blood cells or the blood not flowing. And then you get headaches and shit because your blood's not flowing. Like when you create dams in a river, it makes blockages. When you create rivers that's formed to go up and down and shit, that creates a charge. So, but your atoms, your red blood cells, is your charge. So if you look at your foods, what food says it make red blood cells? Because most of it says a source of vitamin C, but when you look at where the source came from, it's not. So like, but when you look at your natural shit, that's what you get. So it's like you're gonna have to sacrifice what you want to do with your life because the air quality is not going to fuck with that shit because it's not producing air. Like the oxygen is being removed, so you need food that produces it, right? So your cells can continue producing it. If not, you're just gonna. It's gonna be like Total Recall when they open the firmament and everybody was like losing breath and shit. Yeah. That's why they're tampering the blood of the body, the planet, and this water, and they're tampering the blood of the air, the atom. Because when you tamper the atom in the air, it tampers your atom. It deals with your atoms, literally. So if the air gets a V2 charge, then what creates air, just like what creates air outside of you, gets a charge. And what's connected to during that, creating that air, like the trees and the ground, that gets a charge. Every fucking thing gets a charge. You feel me? So saying that we're at 6D, meaning we have six suns, just making six suns, which is three binary systems, and that three is represented in the extra rebirth. Remember, six binary systems is actually the full total energy of the sun, right? So two parallels is actually six, because they're all aligned. But that's when Orion ties into what's going on right now for me. Like me, I'm always keep saying Sun and Gemini because we're going back to Gemini, connecting both parallels above and below. That's why I said when the 6D hits, the gates 7, 8, 9 opens, and I think that's what's about to be happening with this solar eclipse. Gate 7, 8, 9 will be opening, but it's going to take a week, so that becomes the Lionsgate portal on the 27th of April. I know it's in April, but the 8/8 portal, trust me, is in April. The only reason I say this is because now my time is on nature time, natural time. So that's dealing with 369 because that's the cycle of the divine for me. So it's like there's no number greater than 9. So once you get to September, Virgo, which represents the 3 in my eyes because of rebirth, right? You get 10, 11, 12. That's 1, 2, 3. So at 12, that's like the Christ month because of Christmas for me. So that's just representing 3 too for the rebirth. So however you want to say it. So March is like December, then you have June, then that's March. Yeah, June is March. Not saying that's how it is this year, but that's how I was counting it this whole time. So now, but the thing is, it gets stopped when lunar interruptions come in play, or fake ass Mars occultations. It's just an Aries, like shit like that happens. So that's why it hasn't been feeling like it's been rising, but it's still been there. It's just been more blocked off. It's been more cold outside because they need the heat to manipulate the energy. So if they manipulate it to stay cold, they think it works out for them, but it just won't work out for them because there's a cycle going on and it sends signals. Just like us, when we're grounded, we can send signals above and receive them back down. It's best to do it at all three at once because it's like you're looking at the sun, you're grounded, boom. You're like, yeah. I mean, you don't have to. You can do either or, really, and get the same results. But when it comes to grounding, you're actually like sending intent to the world or above, like, yeah, below. The thing is, the UV is actually representing by D, like dimension, because the UV deals with heat, light, and frequencies, and degrees, because it's reflections that is hitting. That's why you see what's around you like the way you see it. It's reflections. Like you put a mirror up, blanket over it, it's still gonna reflect, and it reflects parallel. It reflects parallels for me. So that being said, it makes that's what tetracognition is. This fake ass reality you see, and the way it deals with lights and how they can make holographic imagery above to make it seem like something else, just like a hologram over something, and still use like lasers and all types of shit. But because the thing about that, it's going to deal with your tetracovalent bonds, and fear actually breaks them. That's how you lose cells out of fear, because it breaks your AB bonds, your hydrogen and carbon. When it's in awareness, it actually makes light. It makes so when you're making light, that means that a spark of charge doesn't happen in your body. So when a spark of charge happens, you activate, because the movies always showed you out of fear and scaredness, their powers activated, but really your chaos energy comes from that, and it rises up from you. Like your awareness is from the different chakras. You might feel something in your heart, you might feel something in your brain, you might feel something right here, you might feel something in your stomach. Those all awarenesses tied down to your root. Your root and how you're attached to it. Maybe the world and shit is how you're gonna react to it. But that being said, it's imperative that you're in the right mind state, because as it hits you, it's going to be more draining when you're stressed out. Like, you're just going to be like, what the fuck? But you're not. A lot of people don't realize most of the time it comes from the sun. That's where they got uh, their ideas of actually making drugs to make you into a low vibration. You feel me? Because that deals with your spirit and soul, your A and B, your A and B bonds, your hydrogen and carbon. You feel me? Because your cells is actually your charge, and your cells aren't supposed to die. They're supposed to keep reproducing and reproducing itself. So this whole time they've been trying to make it cold, but in reality it's hot. And you feel it when there's no clouds out. But you still get a chill breeze from the clouds they've been making. Like say the East Coast might get a chill breeze because they've been making the West Coast cold as fuck. Like Texas cold as fuck. Because when it comes together in a tornado valley, there's like a slant from the south to the East Coast. They're creating highs and lows. So I would stop the fuck up this time, because I know this is the fourth Lionsgate portal, and I know the energy is about to turn back up. It might seem calm right now, but it's definitely about to be turned up. And during this hybrid eclipse, during in between of that time, already it's in hybrid, so it's already dealing with an A and B, a binary system, right? So that's where you get uh, your two gammas. But that third gamma is going to come from out of a black hole. It's all going to come together, and when it hits, it's going to make you're going to see. I believe a shift is going to happen in 6D while the total energy hits, because the timeline has reached 2023, which is part of the 7 years tribulation. It seems like they're trying to make it all fucked up. I mean, there's going to be more throughout like 2029. I'm just saying, we're going to be on a whole different timeline, bro. Like, starting today, like that ass, like consciously. And then since they know that we're going to be on a different timeline consciously, like literally futuristic, because they say we're in 2023, but it's going to be like we're in 2024, then it's going to be like we're in 2070, then it's going to be like we're in 2001, 21 something, 2140, 2160. So we're going to be in them years now as it's rising up. So they're going to try to make it cold as fuck because it's gonna tie to whatever you've seen in your dreams and your awakening. That energy is gonna match this energy in the physical because you were in that energy when you were even doing and seeing and whatever. You were in the energy that's now hitting in the physical. I need this to make sense because it's like the tool for the tool. You got your spiritual realm, then got your physical realm. They're both coming together, right? Because the vortex is open. Feel me? It's like Sandman. So as the vortex is open, the timeline is going. So we're in 2023, but the Hertz is at 2023. Well, it's at 217 right now. It's going up. So by tonight, it should be hitting like 2023, 2024, which can make shit kind of weird. Not trying to say too much, but it's kind of sus to me because everything I've been coming up with ties down to this month, to it happening this month. And I was thinking maybe like August, July or some shit, or like October. But now it seems why they have that Fed Now shit in store already for July. Because if it was to happen now and everything was to crash, then that would be the first thing that they have ready. That's if they can get it ready. Because really, it's not going to work unless everything falls. Damn. So, yeah, shit's kind of sus. Uh, get your trust and play, like, figure out all the ways you can operate. Because, yeah, you can try to get your money, but what the fuck is you going to do with that money if you can't even hold it? If you can't protect it? Because if you thinking you holding some money and you're a fucking slave to this corporation still, it's gonna be way more harder. But not saying that you can't do nothing. It's just you're gonna have to like detach from that whole even thought and think of something like actually going futuristic thinking. These hurts should be helping you out right now. If you're at least trying, it's gonna click something more light bulbs, right? That's how I know they're gonna try to make it cold, because the UV is about to be way up, and that's what it was at like 2021, 2020. Like it was like 2020. Yeah, it was like 2021. This low key kinda happened. You feel me? But nah, the Hertz 2023 will be hitting tonight. Tonight is when the timelines cross. You expected some total energy in 2024, but you're going to expect it in 2023 because of 2023 Hertz, which comes off the sun and represents the year, because the year is just a measurement of the energy. So if the energy, which represents the year, is hitting, then that's when the timelines cross. And when you're dealing with total energy, that 7, 8, 9 is going to activate that black hole gamma ray, which is going to come together like a tri-solar system, and boom, because we're dealing with Sirius now too. Like Sirius is not a star; it's a portal to Sirius A, B, and C. Like now, that's part of our fucking alignment. Nibiru is part of our solar system, and their planets, their moons, they got moons, like real moons. Like them shits is green. You feel me? Like not no fake draconian looking type moon, bro. Like Nibiru has real moons in our solar system, and they're turquoise. Like so. That being said, Sirius is a portal to A, B, C, and X. Not so. That's really something that connects through these gates, like the Lion's Gate. So if it was of, like, say it's a tri-solar system for sure being formed, but it's still a quadruple solar system because of Sirius. And that's how you get your rebirth energy, because that deals with the 12. The 4 deals with the 12 and the 3. Because you can't get the 3 to the 6 and the 9 without the 3s, the trinities, the binary systems. That's all I'm saying. There's 6 stars right now that's making 3 binary systems. So them 6 stars, that's 6D, because D means delta, denoting new energy. That D117. The D means denoting new energy in the direction it proceeds in, the degrees. So when 6D, that don't sound right, pause. But like with 6, all right, so 6 suns, so that's 6 dimension energy plus 1. But that 1 has 2 around it. Yeah, bro. So 2023 hurts in 2023 with, which is going to be rising to its point that it needs to be in, because it's 4 different points within that 6. So it's 4 different main energies within that 6. So it's going to hit 4 different grids before it goes into the 7th from this side. So if anything, it's only in 7D on the right side of the Greenwich line, which is like a little bit, it's like where the whole Empire story happened. And the whole Empire story is resembling the war of what you're seeing right now. Just families trying to get their shit together. The whole bloodline type shit. Like, that's all they're doing right now. From the Western Empire to the Eastern Empire, Ukraine being Constantinople, or Constantine, or whatever, that's Ukraine. Yeah, some old crazy thing about today is Holy Wednesday, which deals with I think Odin or something like that, and that ties down to when Judas uh, sacrificed Jesus for some money type shit for me. Shit happened on a Wednesday, and they, from what I peeped reading that, they were doing uh, some ritual type shit behind closed doors. You feel me? So they're low-key calling on some energy to go against the energy that's supposed to be hitting you right now, so they can transfer that into witchcraft. You feel me? Because it's 2 things that are actually going on. I mean, all this is an experiment to see, but the AI is tied to the to the cycle because of the unique cycle. The unique cycle is scheduled uh, by autonomous programs. It's scheduled to a certain time, but that time is going with the cycle. So it's representing the cycle by a scheduler. That's when you look at, it's called a cron job. Cron job, right? It's like AN came from Omi, right? On the micron, which means to see. Cron ties to the Unix system, and the Unix system is just a replica, a scheduled time that goes with the universal system, which is time. The universal system is time, but time is measuring the energy cycle, so it's the hertz and the degrees. So it goes along with the hertz and the degrees, right? I'm just saying, bro. Yeah, actually, fuck that shit. This shit about to happen, bro. Alright, for real. I mean, it already happened. It's just the magnetic field. So now it's down, bro. And the same shit that happened is about to happen. Like, it would make more sense if more people saw what I saw, like seeing through a wall, X-ray vision, out of scaredness and madness. But it all came from a gamma ray or light. I remember I was sleeping hella well, and it was flooding kind of on the East Coast, like flooding in places that don't get flooded, like DC and shit. Right. Shit was weird. But yeah, bro. 6D hitting, bro. On Moose side, which is the US side, and 7D on New side. But we still gonna deal with that 72. You feel me? Especially when it hits 72 degrees, which is like the Indian Ocean. You feel me? Because after that, it goes towards uh, 144 degrees. That's why if you use these degrees, you can actually draw a real map. Because really, the way they map is, it's just a different 3D presentation of how you can visualize it. But the degrees show you where you can place it at if you were to make it like a puzzle or something to it. The degrees can be your puzzles, right? Because degrees make what? Geometrical shapes, right? And these frequencies hit these geometrical shapes. That's like when you deal with cycles, you're dealing with triangles too. That's why you see them in the weather modules and shit, because it points the direction it proceeds in. Those arrows, feel me? That's energy, right? When you see the little spiral in the water or in the air, that's the air cycle. It's still a water cycle. It's just different states of matter of water. Feel me? That's when your 6-9 is or the Cancer symbol is a water sign, but it represents how the cycle looks, right? The 6 and the 9, or the eyes, right? The eye of the storm, right? Because it makes 6 and it makes a 9 to make that circle with the eye in the middle, right? So look, but then that matches Pisces because it's two fishes. Them two fishes is going one way and going the other way. Kind of how like Pisces is going one way and going the other way. So that being said, that's like the yin and the yang. So when you have two fishes matching each other like that, it's like it looks like the 6-9 symbol down there. It represents a cycle. You feel me? It represents a whole cycle. just water in a different state of matter. The air sign represents the way the plasma is going to hit, like Omega with Libra, how it connects parallels with Gemini above and below, and then Aquarius being like type, a hybrid type sign in a way, like, but it's really an air sign for me. Because when the air changed, the atom changed, and then that's when your truth starts to reveal itself, and it's mutating as a positive variant and not as a negative. Because not everybody's gonna drop, but a lot of people's gonna drop being a negative variant. Then a lot of people ain't shit gonna happen to them, and then there's gonna be people you might see just doing extravagant shit. For me, because their atom changed for that process. You feel me? It's, it's a mutation thing going on. But a loss of a cell and a gain of a cell is a mutation for me. It's just me realizing that V2 charge with the Sarko V2, whatever, for a mutation. Like the mutation only grew because it was uncontrollable because of an animal. And when you're dealing with animals, that's when the only time you deal with diseases, because all your diseases come from animals. So that being said, that's the type of protein used to be spiked because a lot of meat actually clogs up your hemoglobin and your red blood cells, and your hemoglobin takes that protein to your respiratory system. So if it's taking that T cell from that to your respiratory system, it's not matching, it's not pairing the right way. And if it is pairing, it's destroying that cell, which causes uh, paralysis. And lysis is that pathological blood destruction that's happening. But the thing about sarcov, the word in it is sarco, which means flesh eating. And then that ties to the sarcophagus and the sarcolactic acid that gets built up where you're not operating as a positive variant. That's why I said you have to need to be eating more fruits, if anything, because you only get itis because of your red blood cells. Like, like you're supposed to get a charge and transmute that energy into doing something. Like, then you won't feel like you're tweaking. But because a lot of energy is about to hit, so it's like you could be mad, but just on some bullshit. You're definitely gonna keep thinking about that bullshit because the sun is hitting, like the energy is hitting, like you just took 6 shots on top of your bullshit. So then it'd be like, damn, why am I feeling like this? That's why you can't be letting bullshit get in the way, because that's gonna actually, especially if you're attached to shit like that, it's gonna actually kill cells way faster with this V2 charge. Like, if anything, I could say get as much water as you can. Like, try to put your house, apartment, whatever in a trust that's in a whole other entity separated from the federal system. Not telling you to do it, just, entertainment purposes. Put that shit in a trust, an irrevocable trust that they can't touch. but make sure you're doing everything right because once you do that, it's irrevocable. Feel me? Certify your birth certificate, take power of your strong man. That's really a big focus right now. And I mean, yeah, paying your bills and shit till it happens. But yeah, operating as a operating your strong man though, operate as a national and not as a citizen. Because really, a citizen is really you being a slave or employee to a corporation. So you could be thinking about all this extra shit and still be employed to the corporation, which is going to tie down to you actually have to pay taxes and there all this extra stuff being tied to the jurisdiction of some. If you're not operating as a national, like this is the type of things they're going to try to throw in your way while this is happening, so it keeps you off of purpose. Because if you know, you know. I want to tell you this shit is real and shit fake about activating your body. It's nothing fake about it, and that's coming from someone who's seen it. I didn't even know what it was. It's nothing fake about reptilians. I seen that shit too. It's nothing fake about none of this shit, bro. Like me sitting here, sometimes it feel humiliating, but I'm kind of cool with it because I know now. But that being said, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of low vibration going on in the high vibration. That high vibration can intensify that thought because it's attached to your cells. For me, your cells is duplicating. So as it's duplicating, it's going to seem more of an issue. Unless you can, you got mind over matter, because that's what's happening. It's changing your state of matter when your cells is reproducing like that. Like, it's really like from today to the 27th, you just gotta peep what happens around these dates I throw you, bro. Like, I ain't been wrong yet. I haven't. That's why I'm kind of scared. I'm not scared, but I'm always hoping I'm wrong, bro. I'm always hoping I'm wrong. That's dealing with any situation. And from feelings and intuitions, I've been seeing I'm not wrong. So it's crazy but amazing at the same time. But I just wish if I'm right now, I hope a lot of people will view this to get understanding because it's going to keep happening. It's just now the thing is if it fully breaks, then 7, 8, 9 is really just going to be open. But I feel like during the eclipse that's about to happen, total energy, that's what it's talking about. That total, the big nine. And I already said 6 stars make 3 binary systems to come with the energy with the sun. But that's +1 the sun, but what's around the sun, that's like +2. So that deals with a total energy of 9 low key. And aligning with this planet. Fucking gamma ray, bro. And it reflects and pick up on bodies. Because when I saw it, bro, it went through a wall. First it went through the glass, it closed the blinds. Then it went through a wall, bro. There was no way it was going. Nobody was in the house neither. Nobody. There was no TVs in that bitch. I really just about to go to sleep. I just had too much energy to go to sleep. So I was staring off in the darkness. Boom, that shit happened. Literally saw my man's girlfriend on the other side, putting the key in the door and twisting it open. I can't make that shit up, bro. So it was like me, I used to say like thermal vision. Now I'm saying X-ray vision because now I know it came from an X flare in 2017. It just had a fucking magnetics field. We're only even feeling six suns right now, plus one, is because the magnetics field is down. Shit's depleting. The clouds help actually rebuild it back up because it reflects light and chemicals back up into that energy, into the light. And what comes down only comes down from the clouds is because uh, the carbon, calcium carbonate, graphene oxide, vanadium, barium, shit like that, that generates it together and it creates carbon emissions. And then that's why they call it sub-zero, because it takes that charge of the atom and brings it back to zero. That's why cold is actually your enemy. When you're a sunbeam, you're a star seed, cold is not natural to you because it eliminates your charge. And then that makes your bones shiver, make you speed up your breath, because when you do that, it generates heat. When you generate heat, you generate a charge. So really the way to fight that is grounding, breath work, and finding the sun with your hands, because your hands actually picks up a charge, a chi charge. Like how you can put your hands together like this, side to side, and you can feel the chi in between your hands. If you point your hands to the sun, even if you can't see the sun, like it could be a lot of clouds all around the sun and stuff, right? Your hands pick up on that frequency. Your eyes pick up on that frequency. Your feet set the intent to the ground. So the frequency sends like a signal. Like you don't need a machine to do it. Your body's a machine. You leave a carbon footprint, relieves a frequency, relieves a message. But it goes up into the air low key and goes down into the ground because it becomes one with it. Right? It's like how they say how people on the moon was leaving footprints and carbon footprints and shit. Right? That shit, it gives off energy. Feel me? So it's like a beacon. It sends off a beacon. But your hands, right, feels the same heat that you feel between your hands. You can find it with the sun during a cloudy day. But you could generate that charge on the ground because the ground gets cold. But if you were to connect, it will actually begin to heat up and you will feel it heat up. Like literally. So then your feet won't even feel cold, you know? You can find it and become the cycle. Become one with the cycle, above and below. And the breath work helps you control the air. Feel me? Once you realize you're one with it. Because you gotta realize this nervous system is attached to you. That's when they say the force is within you. Feel me? Like, it's part of your nervous system, these atoms. The air of the blood deals with the air of the blood in you. The body of the blood of the body, the planet and the water, deals with the body of you and your water. That's why it's really a reflection. That's why in the affidavit, it probably could be written up as this is how, freedom over me is, my freedom is my freedom also in the air and the ground. Meaning, when you're fucking with me, you're literally fucking with nature. And that's what's literally happening. Like, that's not like some spiritual nature person would say, like, that's what they say, but I'm just saying, like, not coming off of the stereotype. I'm coming off of reality. It's metaphysics. That's why we're metahuman, because we're actually connected to the air and the ground. So to tamper with us, you have to manipulate the air, because then that manipulates our air, it manipulates the trees' air. Because in reality, we would just keep growing if we were in our energy, no interruptions. Like, we would grow into giants. These trees will literally keep growing, and one experience fall. So water in them will activate to actually get from the underground in the seas, because now they're sending out signals for more. So what do you think happens when when they're clouding too much and causing the air cold in the ground? The heat's supposed to rise up as the heat comes down. The X is the atom, right? Like, look at my symbol. Triangle up, triangle down. That's how the ground's rising and the heat's coming down, because it makes a cycle. It makes a cycle. Interruptions is how they're making it cold right now. So if the ground gets interrupted, that means the ground actually heats up below itself, while the top of it might be cooler because of the chemicals, but under it, that means the ground is actually heating up. So the ground is actually sending a signal up to the air that I need more heat. And then when the clouds reflect the light, all that is sending light back to them, but they're sending it back even stronger. So the more they do this, the more it's just going to be bad for them anyway. Either way, it's bad for them. That proves how it's bad for them. Because if they were just to let it happen, then they would, everything falls anyway. But them making shit worse for us before they have to get up out of here, it falls for them too. Like, the only way they could really make this shit happen is to freeze. Because it happens every 10 years. That's what the extra 3 to 2027 comes from. Shit happens every 10 years, really. It's just they've been manipulating the energy from the magnetics field, so you wouldn't really see it that way until it was like Lion Gate portals, or like portals opening and shit. Or their defense was weakening, which has been happening, because 10 times 12 is 120, right? It's tied to a cycle thing still, right? Once you see the reflection of you, that's the omnipresence. The omnipresent of that cell that you're actually, that's linked to your body. That's the crown state. But you wake up them cells by changing your perspective. Because if someone told you a lie, wouldn't you want to know the true perspective of yourself? Wouldn't that take the anxiety away? Because the anxiety comes from you not receiving the message. So then you tweak out. That's what happens to the planet when they block the cycle. It gets anxiety. And what happens? Start cleaning off whatever's interrupting. But the thing is, the weather is manipulated by our energy. So when it comes from natural disasters that they want to say from God is destroying our shit, you have to remember we control the energy that they're manipulating. So when you realize you're in control of the energy, it can't manipulate you no more. Now you're finessing through the cycle. Feel me? So if it can't manipulate you, then that means the weather that's being generated can't be manipulated. Feel me? There go that Indian bird with the 9 feathers, the Native American robin. You hear that? It makes you. It does something to your brain, bro. Like the other robin I see, I think fake, cause he got a fake eye. That's why I say stop spying, bro. That robin had a regular eye. Yeah, though. I'll just say stock up, bro. If you got like $50, and you usually spend that shit on straight water, right? And throw it in your room or something, or somewhere you can see. And just keep doing that every week. And don't even mess with that water, cause just like you was go out, you gonna spend that 50 on your girl, then boom, or just on yourself or your kids or whatever. Then boom, you not eating, you not buying no more for that restaurant. You probably go to the gas station, get something to drink. Do the same shit. Get some water too. Let me, because when the thing is, this lockdown, they ain't gonna have shit. You feel me? Just the last lockdown. Unless somehow they end up winning, but they're not. Because our people is waking up to these hurts. It's just how many people is waking up to the food. Because they're definitely attacking it now. And this heat it's gonna fuck up with your air. It's gonna fuck with your air. I promise you. So just stay on the fruits is the most powerful thing because the rainbows matches the chakras. The alkalines, that area, the chakra match by color, right? That is. And then the water helps that acidic actually, with the fruits actually help the water gets alkaline in the body because in the body is going to be heating up. Like when I first went through, I was just eating straight fruits and water, bro. I didn't even know about too much other stuff. Just straight fruits and water. Then I started switching up, eating like light food, like rice, lentils, beans, with like salad, like the halal food. And I was letting the beans be like the meat if I was, because all you needed was to flavor them hoes up with your vegetables and seasonings and herbs. So like, it's really the cheat code for this summer. Because other than that, you're not gonna want to be outside. If you got that cheat code, your body alkaline, you're gonna be outside enjoying it. And then if you outside for a long time while your shit alkaline, your atoms is gonna keep reproducing and not dying. So every time you do it, your life force is just gonna build, right? And then the intuition is just gonna wake up because now your subconscious is like more awakened to it. That's pretty much like your soul, your subconscious. Because A and B comes together and makes C, just like these 6 signs is doing right now. That C stands for gambling, the wave you need to be in. And my prediction is this gamma hit. Just be ready. Because it's going to happen on Greenwich time. It's not going to happen on Eastern Standard Time. So you have to peep it at Greenwich time. Because that's universal time. That's what I'm saying. Mu and Nu, the moon, Nu, is dealing with left and right of the Greenwich line. So on Greenwich time, that's how we have to look at it, right? We're in 6D, they're in 7D. In 6D, these M flares hit, they're trying to make it cold. They're going to try to freeze shit when it just being 80 degrees. They're going to try to make it like 30, 40 degrees. But when it comes to Arctic type blast, just know China is going to be moving in. Russia and India. I believe all three. But mainly China, because China been the one doing that shit. They did it to Australia, India, some more places. Why you think they're all in cahoots with China now and Russia? Because that's how they was operating. They was freezing people, bro. And then they run up in their shit, had the camps built, ready, or somewhat taking them to who knows where. It's like there was some Holocaust stuff going on in China, bro. I don't know if y'all seen that. Like, just look at the places that's getting frozen up right now. Like, I feel like I done had my shirt off year round for the last 3 years. And it low key started 2012. That's what I'm saying. Like, the hurts that, like, if we were time traveling right now and went back in time, we're in the year 2012, but it's ranging from 2012, was that 2012 to 2017. Now 2017, bro, which is more what I feel like, because that's when the shift actually happened. It's just I need y'all to know it's going to happen, and I just don't know how long it's going to last for. It might last, because the weird thing about it, I thought a solar eclipse lasted for like a couple, like 5 minutes or so. They're saying the energy is going to be around until like May something. So in my eyes, I'm like, a shift can happen, and it can actually last that long. Because when I saw it, it was like 9 years. It was like 9 seconds to 12 seconds. And my homie girlfriend opened the door, was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was just shocked. Like, I was like, she was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "If I told you, you wouldn't believe me." So she walked to her room. She was like, "You know what? Don't even tell me. I know y'all ass be high, but I never experienced no shit like that, so I wasn't capping." So now that I'm seeing where it came from an X-Flare. Someone made a video last year. Well, no, like the year before. Yeah, 2021, December. That's when I realized it came from an X-Flare. Because they were showing how it got heated up in 2017. The only reason I'm saying it's like that because of the shit that's been going on with like friends and all types of stuff. It resembles that year. Then the hurts resembles that year. Then the weather that was happening resembles that year. Like, but the 360 and the hertz, and then the 6D, Like all that just matches up to I'm not bullshit. That's why I say I hope I'm wrong. Like I hope I'm wrong, bro. I'm not trying to sit here and act like I'm right. It's just either way if I was to be wrong, me telling you to stock up and get water or be like just be like in that procedure, nothing about that is wrong because it's gonna happen. It's just it's fucking with me because dealing with like April 1st, I was saying was New Year's, but New Year's is on a January. January deals etymology deals come from the word anus, which deals with an archway, doorway, gateway, which is all words for portals, right? So then when it comes to a lion's gate, because it's only 3 months right now in my eyes with 4 different alternates, so then that can make it seem like it's 12. So that 3, right? So that means you're gonna be dealing with 4 different symbols with like 2 extra ones type shit. Like 4 different symbols. Like say like I'm still a fire sign, a water sign, an earth sign, but I'm a Gemini. But that's the 4 is the elements, right? That's why it's 4 different hertz that hits for each level because it's for the 4 elements and the 4 states because it's all different states of water really. Hydrogen and carbon, different states of your atom. That's what it's different states of your atom. That's what the black atom represents. The different states of you. Sheesh. Yeah, the black atom represents the different states of you. Because water, fire, air, the planet, it's just reflections of carbon and hydrogen. I was about to say water, but that's where water comes from. So really just reflections of hydrogen in different states. But this UV, right, when 6D settles, this UV sits. Like, that's what I'm saying. 5D settled already. For real, for real. Like, that's why the UV was high, because of the hertz we were in as it was settling. Even during the interference is pretty much the clouds and the moon. Feel me? And the bases that they have by these grids, because it literally hits sacred numbers like 77, 72, 46, 43, 48, 144, like all the numbers that equal 9, 6, 3, and 12. Like if you did numerology, like those are bases. Why? Because to manipulate the energy, you have to manipulate where it's hitting and where it's coming from. So that's where you get your moon manipulating from the sun. But on the planet, you have to manipulate like the grid. So that's when the magnetic field came into play. Because when you manipulate the grid, you manipulate the air, which is the air of the blood, which is you. You're the air of the blood, and you're the blood of the body. Reason they fuck with that to fuck with you. If you wasn't connected to it, it would not fuck with you, right? Saturn controls all the other planets that aligns to the stars. It controls that alignment. Feel me? You see how it all ties in play? It manipulates the sun, but from these 6 suns that I'm feeling right now, I know it's going to be 3 gammas that come together. It's going to be 3 gamma bursts, and one of them going to come out of a black hole. one from Nibiru or Planet X, the neutron star, and then you're going to get one from the light. Because what do a neutron star and the black star do? The black sun, the rainbow sun, and the black sun is the reason why the light is even shown. Right? It's just they've been manipulating energy. It's like a tick being on you, you don't even know it. A tick, like it's just like Neo when he had that robot parasite in his body this whole time he didn't know. Same shit. Manipulating you. But to manipulate you, they had to make you manipulate yourself. So you can blame them at the end of the day, but it becomes a self thing of knowing thyself because that's what you created within yourself. You created that beast, meaning nobody knows your downfall but you. Feel me? So you're the only one that can free yourself. Your reflections around you, like me or nature or someone that you like listening to, that's like another cell working with you type shit. Because what do cells do? They work together in the body. So we got body by being in the body of God. That's how I look at it. If we were in somebody's body, this is pretty much what we do. Like, that's why we're omnipresent. This is our body. At the end of the day, that's why the affidavit, it could be proven for them to get the fuck out the air because of metaphysics. Thank you for all the ones who listen. And thank you for all the weird people who's just being weird. I truly appreciate you. Yeah, stock up on that water though. So you ain't got shit. At least you got sun, water, nature.